Welcome back to the channel, boys. Fabulinski's coming at you neck with this new and improved Nova Warp build. In the most recent patch we just got with the new season launch, Nova Warp just got an insane damage buff. So right now it has an increased damage versus PvE combatants by 73%. You're no longer slowed while charging, like you charge it up and then you release it. You're not slowed while doing that anymore. And now when you pop your super, pop Nova Warp, it actually detonates. So any enemies that are near you will just blow up when you pop it. Also, handheld supernova got 100% damage increase versus combatants. Although now we have to take a little bit longer to charge it up. It went from 2.5 to 3.2 seconds. I think that's a fair trade-off. For now has literally a 100% damage increase. So reading these patch notes, I was like, I gotta make a build on this, and here we are. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So like I just said in the beginning of the video, we're using Nova Warp, which is Middle Tree Voidwalker, attunement of fission. Honestly, there's not much to say here. I mean, I'm using scatter grenades. Yeah, there's not really much to say here. We're using Nova Warp, get a melee kill. I think it's this one right here. This melee kill creates a void explosion. Where is it? Melee kills do give you grenade energy in return. Where is it? Dark matter. Void ability kills grant health in melee, grenade, and class ability energy. Just any void ability kills, whether it's grenade, handheld supernova, or the melee, you get some grenade energy, melee energy, and class ability energy. So there is some ability spam with this build. As for your loadout, or as for my loadout, we have some flexibility. Right now I'm using Wither Horde. You can honestly use whatever you want here, but Wither Horde is just really good right now. Actually, it's always been really good, but now that Anarchy's been nerfed, I'm using Wither Horde a lot, and it's just a fun weapon. It's good to use. I'll get to this in a second, but we're using Hazardous Vengeance, Time Lost. Honestly, you can use whatever you want here. I also tried this with Deathbringer. It works just as fine. You can use a sword if you want to. You can use whatever you want, linear fusion. But for your primary weapon, I recommend using a Void weapon. I'm using a Void weapon with Thresh because it pairs very nicely with Mantle Battle Harmony. You get super energy when it matches your subclass element type. So we get a Void subclass, a Void weapon, and it has Thresh on it, which gives you bonus super energy upon kills with the weapon. So we're just gonna get a bunch of super energy with this weapon, which is why I'm using a Void weapon with Thresh. You don't have to, but I recommend it. Now moving on to our stats, we got 28 mobility, 30 resilience. Now we have 101 recovery and 101 discipline. This is probably the most min-max you can get. If only this was a flat 100 and a flat 100 here on discipline. But having 100 recovery means I get my health back faster, 41-second cooldown on my rift, and I have a 32-second cooldown on my grenade because I have 100 discipline. Pair this with dark matter, I'm going to get my grenade a lot. I also have some firepower mods on, so my grenade is going to come back an insane amount. We also have 18 intellect, but we're going to make up for this with all the other ways of getting super energy, and we have 51 strength. So let's go ahead and start with our helmet now. Let's talk about our mods. We got two really important mods here. We got Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. This plays into the fact that I have 100 discipline plus dark matter plus firepower. I'm going to get a lot of grenade energy. A lot of grenade kills equals more super energy. And we also have elemental charge. Become charged or light by picking up an elemental well. If the elemental well's element type matches your subclass element, you gain 2 stacks of charge with light. So as long as I'm picking up these elemental wells, I'm going to be generating, because I also have elemental ordnance on, get grenade kills, spawn elemental wells, pick those up, become charged with light. On my gauntlets, we have another 2 really important mods. We have impact induction, causing damage with a melee attack, reduces your grenade cooldown. Whenever I just land my melee attack, I get grenade energy, plus if I kill an enemy with it, I get dark matter proc, which is going to give me more ability energy. And then we also have firepower. While charged with light, regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade, consuming 1 stack of charged with light. Get grenade kills with it, get an elemental well, become charged with light, proc firepower, keep this cycle going. I believe I have another firepower mod on later on in some other armor pieces. Now moving on to my chest piece, which is also my exotic piece of choice. We're using Mantle of Battle Harmony. You guys already know I love this exotic. I've used this tons of times because I feel like it's just so good for builds. There's a lot of synergy here. So in case you guys don't know, the armor perk is Absorption Cells. Takedowns with weapons that have the damage type matched to your subclass element grant you super energy. While your super energy is full, you instead gain a temporary bonus to weapon damage of the type matched to your subclass element. So I get super energy whenever I'm using void weapons. Once my super is full, I get a buff for I think it's 7 seconds, and you can keep stacking it up to 13 or 15 seconds. Get a damage buff to void weapon damage, so my pulse will do more damage, and if you're using a void heavy, that'll do more damage. So it's really good for super regen. Also, you get damage buffs when your super is full. As for my mods, the only important mod I have on here is Font of Wisdom. Picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants you a temporary significant increase in your intellect, improving your recharge rate of your super. I believe that this gives you plus 50 stats, plus 50 intellect stats. Right now my intellect is at 18, so picking this up will give me 68 intellect for like 30 seconds, and you can keep chaining it together. So if you play it correctly, you can actually have like that font of wisdom buff active at all times until you get your super. It's actually pretty nice. On my legs, we're double stacking absolution mods. Reduce all ability cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. I was thinking about either going with absolution or innervation, but I figured that I have all of these other ways to generate grenade energy. Might as well just use absolution, so that way I get my abilities, all my ability cooldowns back. And then we're also using elemental ordnance. Defeating combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. This plays in hand with all the fact that I'm gonna get my grenades a lot. Handheld supernova, regular grenades, get those kills, pick up those elemental wells, and get my build going. And on my warlock bond, we're using a double stack of bomber mods, so whenever I cast my rift ability, I get a nice chunk of grenade energy. And then we're double stacking that, and then we also have another firepower mod, so that's 2 stacks of firepower. So now I get like a little over a fourth, I would say, of grenade energy back whenever I use it. Then if I get a kill, I proc dark matter. Elemental wells are gonna spawn. There's just a bunch of synergy getting my grenade back. I have 100 discipline, so there's a lot of grenade spam with this build. Get those grenade kills, proc ashes to assets, get a lot of super energy in return. And here is my warlock fashion. Although I do love mantle battle harmony, it is hard to style, man. Like it looks cool, but like that's it. Like it's hard to style with, so I kind of went with like a glowing look with some of the solstice gear. We can go ahead and check out the ornaments here. Here are all the shaders, and here are the ornaments I use. So if you want to pause it, you can take a look at my warlock fashion. If you want to recreate it, there you go, now you can. Finally Nova Warp is good again. I've always liked this subclass, but it fell off. It just wasn't that good in PvE. You move slow, and then like the handheld supernova just did like crap damage, but they buffed it so much, and now it just feels so good. I think the biggest thing for me though is the fact that you don't move slow when charging the Nova or the little, I guess, Nova Bomb in your hand. I don't even know what that's called. Everything just feels so much more fluid with the class, and I'm very glad that they did what they did. Now it actually also does better damage too, so you can chunk down some chunky enemies. Handheld supernova does insane damage, 100% increase, so it's really good short range. If something is rushing you, you can just charge up, just charge a little bit slower, but it does way more damage. So I'm very happy with this buffs. And with this build, we literally use what was buffed the most. So we have 100 discipline, all the grenade spam, and handheld supernova got buffed. I would just use a lot of scatter grenades, but whenever there's a time where I needed to use handheld supernova, it was there, and I chunked down the enemies, so it's useful in that regard. And we have super spam, so super was buffed. We have a lot of super regen with this build. I absolutely love it, man. We're using everything that was buffed with Nova Orb, and it feels fantastic. This season has a lot of changes, man. I'm really excited to go in and try some of these older exotics that got buffed, try some of the new subclass retuning. So there's definitely going to be a lot of builds, and I feel like I see people using a lot more different things now, which is refreshing. I've even seen some Striker Titans in PvE, which is actually kind of rare. You mainly see that in PvP. So there's a lot of new subclasses, well, not new, but like a lot of underused subclasses being brought out now, and it just feels refreshing. We're going back to the Dreaming City using the Blind Well. Things just feel like renewed or revitalized, because now we have a lot of the old stuff that was already in here either buffed, retuned, going back using old locations. Things just feel new, I guess, but even though they're not new, kind of new. I don't even know. There's new content in the older places, so it makes it feel new. But if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, and share. It truly helps me out a lot. You can also check out my other videos. Links are in the description below. I have a lot of crazy builds, so go and check that out. And you might as well follow my social media. I have a Twitter and an Instagram, both at @fat_balloonskis. But with all that being said, deuces.